Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture where I will be discussing about texts. In the previous lecture, we already discussed about numbers, right? So you can see it from here. That is, in the last lecture, I discussed about an informal introduction to Python, and also using Python as a calculator was discussed, and this numbers 3.1.1, this was, so till here, these three parts were covered in the last lecture. So in this lecture, I will be discussing everything about text, okay? So let's get started. So Python can manipulate text represented by type str, so-called strings, right? So actually, Python, as in the last lecture we have seen that numbers can be manipulated using multiple different types of operators. In the very similar way, we can also manipulate text in Python, okay? And all the texts are having the type of str, which means strings, okay? So, now, strings can include what all things? It can include all the types of characters, right? So it can be special characters like this, like exclamation mark, it is a special character, okay? Similarly, some words can be there which are made up of alphabets, right? Some kind of phrases can be there which is having alphabets as well as, some special character like dot here, okay? So like this, or it can also have digits, okay? That digits, those will not be considered as numbers, those will be considered as strings, right? So we will be seeing everything in some time. Now, one thing which you have to remember about string is whenever you are trying to represent any string, you have to enclose that within quotes, okay? So it can be either single quote or it can be double quotes, okay? Both are valid, but there are some special situation where you should use single, where you should use the double one. So that everything we will be discussing in some time, okay? So like the very first example is shown that how we represent strings. So as you see here, some string is written and that is enclosed in single quotes, right? So so what output will come for that? So output is also coming, the same string is coming which is enclosed in single quote, right? And also you can represent in double quotes, some other string is there which is enclosed in double quotes, right? But when the output is coming, it is still represented in single quote only, okay? So by default single quotes are used. There are some situation where the output will come in double quotes, so we will see that how it happens, okay? And as I talked about digits and numbers, right, you see here 1975 is represented, but it is enclosed in single quotes. So that means by this quotes you can understand actually that it is string or it is number. If any quotes are not there, that means it will be considered as a number, right, in which we can do all the arithmetic operations. But to this, any arithmetic operations we cannot perform, okay? Only string operations we can perform because it is enclosed in quotes and it is considered as a string, okay? So I hope this point is clear to you. So let us go to the terminal, right? And let us see and try to represent some of the strings, okay? And then we can continue with the next part. So I hope the terminal is visible. So first of all, we have to invoke the interpreter by writing this Python 3, right? And after this, you can just write some strings. So let us say if I write hello, then hello is printed. As you see, double quotation I have used, but the output is still coming in single quotation. Also in single quotation, you can write something, okay? Learning Python, let us say like this, learning Python. So like this it is coming, okay? Now let us say if you're not, writing, let us say hello again, I'm writing, but I'm not writing any quotation, right? Double is also not used, single is also not used. In that case, what will happen? How it is considered, right? What Python is thinking about this word hello. So it is considering it as a variable name now. Understood? Hello. So that means it is trying to print the value of hello. Okay. So right now it is not a string. It is considering it as a variable whose value is not defined, right? Of course. So that is why you are getting name error. Understood? So that is why quotations are really important. If you miss it out, then you will get error. Also, let us say I am starting with quotation but I am not ending it and only this much is my string. In that case, what will happen? In that case, we are going to get this syntax error. Okay, so I hope it is visible. This is how you are going to get syntax error. Okay, why? Because it is saying unterminated. That means whatever this quotation I started, that has not terminated, right? We have to terminate and then completely it will be considered as a proper string. Okay, so that is what is there. Okay, also we can, as I said, digits can be represented. So let us say this number I am writing. Okay, so this is considered as what? It is considered as a string. Okay, but as I said that we cannot do any arithmetic operations we cannot perform. So let us say I want to divide this by 2. Okay, if it is considered as a number, then it should be divided by 2. So if I try to do that, then I am getting type error, right? So what it is saying, unsupported operand types for str and int. Okay, that means one is a string and the other one is int, and so string and int we cannot divide, right? That doesn't make sense, and because of that we are getting error. Okay, so these things you have to keep in mind. And but there are some arithmetic operators which we can use here, but that will not be considered as arithmetic, like plus and multiplication sign we can use here, but not as actual addition or multiplication. So that we will see in some time. Okay. All right, now also we can represent special characters. Let us say something like this. Okay, some special characters also we can represent it this way, and this also will be considered as a valid string. Okay, so I hope this is clear that this is how we represent strings. Okay, so we will go back to the documentation and see what next is written. So next here, this is a very important point which you have to take proper care of, and that is if you have to quote a quote, right? Are you getting this point? To quote a quote, that means what? That some quotation is there. Okay, means in your string itself there is some quotation you have to use, right? It happens when in English we write that he said something, she said something, right? We quote someone's words and all. In that case we quote it inside double quotation and all, or a single quotation also, like don't, wasn't, hasn't, right? In that case quotations are used. So for those things, that means what? My string itself is containing some quotation, and outside also quotations will be there for representing string. So in this case some special care we have to take, and what is that? That is mentioned here. So actually whatever that inside internal quotations we are using, that we have to escape it, and which we can do by this slash. Okay, so we have to write slash and then that internal whatever quotation mark is there, and then that will get escaped and we will get the proper output. Otherwise what will happen? Otherwise we are going to get error. Okay, so here some examples are written. You can copy these examples and try by yourself, right? Or otherwise you should actually try some new strings by yourself and see what kind of output you are getting. So let us go back to the terminal and see some examples. Okay, so as you can see here, now let us say I am trying to represent don't. Okay, so in that case I will write it this way. This is how we write don't, and of course outside quotations must be there for representing string that we learned just now. But then in this case what will happen? We will get syntax error. Okay, why we will get syntax error? Because actually Python starts from the single quotation, right? As soon as it sees that first quotation is there, it will understand that after this some strings are there. So after this whatever characters are coming till the next single quotation, it will consider everything as the part of that string, right? So when it will start interpreting, it will come till here, till this part what I have selected, right? So here when it will see the single quotation, it will consider that the string ended here, right? So DON, this will be considered as the string. Okay, but after that what is there? After that T and this closing quotation is there, right? Now this it is not able to interpret that what it is, from where it started, from what it ended, because this string it's separated out, right? This much, this string got separated. Now whatever is remaining, for that, that is not following any proper syntax, and that is why we are getting syntax error. So because of this reason, internal whatever this quotation is there, we have to skip it. Okay, and how to do it, that I am showing it right now. So you have to write this down, and after that you have to give the slash, and after that you will write the single quotation, and then you can write T and again close it. Okay, so now it is perfectly fine and you are getting the string printed. Okay, and now you see one thing, now the output is coming as double quotation. You do see, I told you just a few minutes back that there are some situations where the output will come in double quotation, right? So this is that situation. Why? Because internally single quotation is there. That is why by default means Python interpreter represented the string as double quotation outside. Understood? So that any confusion does not remain. Inside is single and outsides are double. Okay, so that is how Python interpreter is going to change the output as per the requirements. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Similarly, it goes with double quotation also. Let us say double quotation is written and I am writing again here something. Okay, some okay, like we can write it this way. He said, and let us say some quotation I'm writing, learning Python, like this. Okay, so we will close it this way, right? The quotation which is said by the person, and after that this closing has to be there for closing the string. So if we do all these things, then again we are going to get syntax error saying invalid syntax, because again, as I said, this double quotation started here, so it will consider only till here, because here again double quotation is there, so it will consider this much as the string, and rest of the part it is not able to understand the syntax and all. Of course the syntax is wrong for rest of the part, and that is why it is giving error. Okay, so here also you have to escape all the internal quotations. Okay, so for that purpose you have to write here he said, then comma, and after that, since here double quotation we have to use, you have to escape it by writing the slash. Okay, after this you can print learning and then Python. Okay, and then again one more double quotation inside this string only. You want to represent the quote like that, so you have to escape it again, and after that this final quotation you have to give, which is for closing the string. So for that any escape is not required, right? So now if I print it, now we are not getting any syntax error, and you see properly the string is printed. Okay, and now you see, since internally double quotation is there, so automatically Python interpreter produce the output where outside single quotation is there for clarity. Okay, so this is how these things are done. So this is called escaping, and you have to take very proper care of escaping characters and all, otherwise you are going to get errors. Okay, all right, so I hope it is clear, and so we can go back to the documentation. And so here other examples are also given, so you can try all this, and you can try some new strings also by yourself. Okay, after that the next part of the documentation says, here it defines that what is the difference between printing the output using print function or printing the output simply directly by just writing the variable name. Okay, so basically what I mean is, you see here, right, these examples we saw. So here you see, here some string is taken and directly the output is coming, right? So this way also we can produce output, and other way of producing output is by using the print function, right? So then you might think that already if output is coming this way, then why should we go for print function? What is the need? What is the requirement, right? So that requirement and that difference is clearly mentioned here. Okay, so what will happen, I am explaining you by this example itself. You see, s is equal to first line and then slash n, and then second line is written. So I hope you know the meaning of slash n. It means new line character. Okay, so whenever we write slash n, it means that new line character should be printed. That means we should go to the next line, and in the next line the rest of the string should be printed. Okay, but the thing is that if I'm directly printing it like this, that just as I'm writing, so directly if I print it, then the entire string will be printed as it is. Okay, that internal whatever special character is there, that will not be interpreted as its actual meaning. Okay, so that is why you see any new line has not got printed, slash n is coming as it is. But if you print this using the print function, then you see the proper output is coming as exactly how we need it, and that is first line is printed in the first line, and then second line is printed in the next line. Understood? So this is the difference between using print and s. So if you want your strings to be interpreted properly, then you should go for print. Using print you produce the output, then it will be correct, otherwise the output may not come correct. Okay, All right. So now again, let us see this also practically, that really it is happening or not. So I will go back to the terminal, and here let us take some string that is maybe hello, okay, and then slash n I'm writing, and after that Python. Okay. So what is the meaning here? That means what I'm trying to do, I want to print hello, and after that in the next line I want to print Python, right? So now s if I print, but it is not happening that way, right? You see slash n is getting printed as it is, so this is not how I want my output. So because of that, you should use the print function. So inside print, if I write this s, now properly the output is coming, that is hello Python. Hello is printed in one line and Python is printed in next line. So this is the difference, and I hope now you understood that when directly you should print, okay, and if some kind of special character is there, then you should always go for print function. Okay. All right. So let us go back to the documentation, and so I think it moved to the different documentation. Okay, no problem. We can just continue from the next part. So here we covered this. Thing, right? First line and second line. So you understood the difference of print function and printing the output directly, right? After that, what the documentation is saying. Now here what is there? If you don't want characters prefaced by slash to be interpreted as special characters, you can use raw strings by adding an R before the first quote. Okay, now what is the meaning of this? Here it is trying to say, first of all, you see the example. Here inside print, what is written? This C colon, okay, and like this some path name is written, and then you see slash n is written. Okay, but we are also able to understand that actually it is not trying to print in the next line, right? Actually this name is maybe some folder name or file name. Okay, this is the path actually given, right? So then some folder is there, okay, and inside that some name folder or maybe file is there, like that. So it should not be considered as a new line, but if you print it directly, then of course this slash n will be considered as a special character, new line character, and the output will come this way, which is not how we want to interpret it, right? So because of that, if you want to prevent that, even if some special character kind of thing is there, combination is there, but if you don't want to consider it as a special character, in that case you have to add one R in front of the entire string. Okay, so if you write R here and after that that entire string you write, then you see the output is coming as it is, and it is not taking slash n as the special character and not printing in the new line. Okay, so this is what is the difference. Okay, so if you don't want to consider it as a special character, then you have to write R in front. Okay. All right, so let us go to the terminal and see this. Okay, so let us say I'm writing print, and after that, as it was written, right, I can take it this way, that C colon is there, after that, you know, slash is there, then sum is written, after that like this n. So this slash n is only the problem, it will consider it as the special character, right? So name I can write, and then I can print it. So it is printing in the wrong way, right? N is not present only because of course this slash n entire is considered as a new line character, right? So after slash n whatever is there, that is printed. So that is why here AME only that much is printed, that also in the new line. Okay, so if we want to prevent it, then what we have to do, we have to write print, and then you have to write R first. Okay, so write R, and then you put the quotation, and then you write C colon, and then entire path whatever was there, so name, and then like this. Okay, so now you see the entire path is printed as it is. This slash n is not considered as a new line character. Okay, and you're getting the output. So keep in mind this okay, this R character you have to use for this particular purpose. All right, so now this R you understood, right, how to use, but there is one exception here, that is there is one subtle aspect to raw strings. A raw string may not end in an odd number of characters. So this is, you have to keep in mind that if, like here, how many slashes are there? 2 are there, so which is even, right? But in that case, if any your string is there, raw string is there, and if it is ending with odd number of slashes, okay, that means let us say 3 slashes are there and the last one is slash only, in that case it might not work in the right way. Okay, so here actually the link is given, and you can go to this and you can see that what is happening. You see here, here how many slashes are there? So 1, right, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and the last one, whichever is the, it is ending with the slash. So in this case you will get error, that is unterminated string. So for this purpose, little bit you have to take care, and how to like come out of this problem. So in that case, okay, some ways are written over here, so you can go to this particular document and you can read this. Okay, I'm not getting into this as of now because we will divert from the topic, so maybe in some other video I will consider this point. Okay, but if you're interested, then you can go to this link and read it yourself. All right. Now another thing is, string literals can span multiple lines. Okay, you see till now whatever examples is mentioned here, and also whatever examples I have shown you in the terminal, there any such string we did not consider where the string is spanning to multiple lines, right? Everything was in one line string only. Okay, so if we have to do that, then in that case we have to use triple quotes. Okay, we have to use triple quotes, otherwise it is not possible, because as soon as we will hit enter, it will just execute that, right? And if we are not closing the quotes and all, then it will give error. So that is why we have to use triple quotes, which can be both double quotations also you can use, and single quotations also. Okay, now end of lines are automatically included in the string, but it's possible to prevent this by adding slash. So here what it means, actually, you see this example. Here it is trying to print, and what it is trying to print, it is trying to print entire this string, right? Everything, this is like a string. Okay, where it is it has written the string from the next line, usage. Okay, after that whatever things are written here, also spaces are there, then after that again. So overall you see the string is spanning to 3 lines here, right? Total 3 lines are there. So for that, for doing that, what you have to use? You have to use triple quote. Okay, but one thing is there, that here slash is used, right? So since here slash is used, that is why actually it is preventing. Okay, here slash is used, so that is why if you see the output, I will show you. So whatever output is coming, that output is printed from the first line itself. But otherwise if you're not giving this, no, then this entire line will also be considered as a single line, which will be reserved, and then so one line blank will come, and then usage will be printed. Okay, so I'm showing you, and by that you can understand it better. So in the terminal, so we will print something, right? So print, like let us say a single quotation I'm writing, and then if I come to the next line, you see it is that secondary prompt is coming, right? It did not get executed. Why? Because I have given here triple quotation. Otherwise it will get executed and I will get error. Okay, now you can write here whatever strings you want. Okay, I am writing some different kind of string. You can try whichever is given in the documentation. So let us say hello I am writing. Okay, after that again in the next line, again another secondary prompt is coming, right? So after that I can write here something, hello Python. Okay, in the next line maybe welcome. Okay, like this. Okay, and then finally we can go again to the next line, or there itself you can close it. Okay, so this is how 3 quotations again you have to give, and then close it. Okay, so the lines are printed, that is hello Python welcome. Okay, but what you have to notice here, actually if you compare with this one, then you can understand. You see in this line we were printing something, so in the very next line any gap is not there, in the very next line the output is coming. But here what is happening, that print has ended till here, right? Whatever command is there, that ended here, and here this line, this whatever one line gap has come, that has come because we did not write here anything. Now here only quotations are there, so that entire line also it will consider as one line, and it has blocked it. So if you want to prevent it, then you have to use the slash here. Okay, for ending also, you see for ending also here one line has been blocked. Okay, so if you want to prevent all those things, then you have to write here slash. Okay, after this you can write whatever the same thing you can write or something different as well. So Python and then maybe welcome like this, and then you close the single quotations. Okay, and after that if you hit enter, now you see what is happening, that in the beginning whatever that empties was coming now, this one, this line, okay, here in above hello, that empty line is not coming. So that means since here slash I have used, this line it will not block, but at the ending part still it is blocking. So that means here also you have to add one slash after ending. Okay, so there again it will not block. So this is how you have to do it. Okay, so this one I will recommend you to try. Okay, you try and see that yes, the line is not blocked, and if it is not working or something else is coming, you can comment and I will try to help you. Okay, all right, so let us go back to the documentation. And so this part I discussed, and as I said in the beginning of the video, that strings can also operate using arithmetic operators. Okay, but here exactly it will not be considered as an arithmetic operator, it is considered in a different way, but we can use here plus and multiplication sign. Okay, so the thing is that this plus sign is actually used as a concatenation operator. That means it is used for joining two strings. Okay, it is used for joining two strings. And this multiplication operator is used for repeating the strings for some number of time. Okay, so as you can see here, this example is given, 3 into un is written. That means what? That this un has to be repeated 3 times. So you see the output un. Okay, till here 3 times this string is repeated, and after that with that string what is joined? IUM. So this they are joining it later. Clear? So this is how plus is used for concatenation and multiplication is used for repeating it. Okay, so let us see that. Okay, so here let us say two strings, if I am writing that hi and then plus, if I write hello like this. Okay, so what will happen? You see hi hello got printed together without any space, because of course in my strings any space is not there and it is concatenating, joining them, right? So it got joined without any space. So like this you can do. Okay, so one thing you have to remember, that if you are using concatenation operator, then both the strings must be string. Okay, so if you do it this way, let us say some number I am writing here, then in that case you will get type error, because here string is there and with that you are trying to add 4, which doesn't make sense, right? So that is why you are getting error. But if I write it this way, let us say plus and then 4, which is inside quotation, so now it is fine because this 4 is now string, so both strings should be there, so now it will be high 4. Okay, so like this you have to do it. Okay, so this point to keep in mind, that both the both operands must be strings if you are using concatenation operator. Now after that, let us see for that multiplication also. So let us say if any string I am writing hi and then I am writing that, okay, this asterisk symbol, and after that let us say if I am writing 3, some integer if I am writing, then you see 3 times high is printed. Okay, but for this order you can change, like 3 can be at the beginning also, that is not a problem, and after that also if you write high you are going to get the same output. Okay, but one thing you have to remember, that in case of this asterisk symbol if you are using, in that case one operand must be string and other operand must be integer. Okay, then only it is going to work. So if I say that hi, you repeat it 3.5 times, then that is something invalid, because always integer must be there. So now if I do this, it is giving me type error. Okay, because only integers can be there. Okay, also if you try to do it this way, that hi you are writing and then asterisk symbol you are writing, and after that in string you are writing 3, that means both are strings now. Okay, so now you cannot expect that 3 times it will be repeated. So again type error you are getting, and this is how. Okay, so that means, so remember, if you are using this asterisk, then definitely one operand must be string and the other one must be integer, only then it can work. Okay, so for what it is used for repeating. So let us say some sentences there, some phrases there which you want to repeat multiple times, let's say 10 times, 100 times you want to print, then directly you can just write the number and it will be printed. Okay, so if I write it that okay, if I write it, hello, we are learning Python. Okay, so if I write this, and let's say this line I want to print 10 times. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to just put asterisk and write 10, and in that case it is printing this way. Okay, now what is happening actually, that continuously like high also you see here, somewhere high was getting so here without any space, without any separation, it was getting printed. So same thing here also, actually any separations are not there, that is why the output is looking like this, but 10 times it is printing. So definitely if you want to print them in separate lines, you have to add one special character, that is your /n, right? And inside that you have to print. So right now I have to use print function, otherwise directly /n if I use, that same problem will come, right? That it will not interpret it in the right way. So these things you have to keep in mind. So if I write now again, we are learning Python, and then /n if you write, that means this along with the /n it will be printed 10 times. So now it should come in the different lines. Okay, so this is there, and then like this, and 10. Okay, so now you see the output is coming, so 10 times the line is printed. So that is the benefit, that in other languages we use loops and all for this, but here just by writing one single statement you can do this task. Okay, hundreds, thousand times you can print. So that is the benefit of this operator. So I hope it is clear. So let us go back to the documentation, and here the next thing is that two or more string literals, that is the ones enclosed between quotes next to each other, are automatically concatenated. Okay, so you see here py is written, right? It can be either single quotation or double quotation. Okay, and here this, right? So in middle any plus sign is not there, but still it is going to by default concatenate it. Okay, so the final output will be Python. Okay, now this feature is particularly useful when you want to break long strings. So let us say a very long string is there like this, right? Put several strings within parentheses. Okay, after that again in this line only if you keep on writing, then the line will become very big. So in that case what you can do, you can come to the next line by closing it, and immediately without any symbol, without any sign, you can immediately start with the next quotation and write the next sentence. Okay, so they will automatically get joined, and the final output will be this. That means the text variable will contain the entire string. Okay, now one thing you have to remember here, that this only works with two literals. Okay, so two literals means exactly both should be string literals. Okay, and it will not work with variables or expressions. Like here examples are given, let us say prefix is equal to py, this is given. Okay, and now let us say if you're trying to do this way, that prefix is there, so it will take the value of py, and then here thon is written, right? So they will join it and it will become Python. So that is not going to happen. Okay, so variables will not work here. Also here expressions are there, so if let us say un into 3, this you want to do, and so 3 times it will be done, after that you want to join here ium, so this also is not going to work. Okay, so definitely both should be string literals, otherwise it is not going to work. Then if you want to concatenate variables or a variable and a literal, you have to use this. Okay, so if any variable and some literal you want to concatenate, in that case mandatorily you have to use the plus sign only. Okay, concatenation operator. All right, so I hope these things are clear. You can try this out by yourself, and after that now we will discuss about indexes in strings. Okay, so strings can be indexed, that is subscripted, with the first character having index 0. Okay, there is no separate character type. A character is simply a string of size 1. Okay, that means what it is trying to say, that every string in Python gets indexes. Okay, and the indexing starts from 0. That means the first character of the string has the index 0, after that 1, then 2, then 3, so like this it continues. Okay, also in Python there is no concept of character. everything is a string data type. There is only one string data type only, okay? So any separate character type is not there. If you want to represent a single character, you have to represent in string only. So that will be like a string which is having the length 1, okay? So that is something which is mentioned here, because actually in C, C++, Java, we are having a separate character type also, in which only single character we can represent, right? If you have done programming in those languages, you can understand. But in Python, there is no such concept. So now let us see these examples. So word is equal to Python, right? Now word of 0 it is trying to print. 0 means the first character. So P is printed, okay? After that word of 5. So if you keep on counting like this, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So you will see that N is having the index 5, and that is why N is printed, okay? Now one thing is that in Python, we also have negative indexes, okay? Which starts from the last character, okay, to start counting from the right. So if you try to print word of -1, so it will start from the right. So right, who is -1, this last character gets the index of -1, okay? So that is why N is printed. If -2, then the next one, which is O, so O will be printed, okay? So I hope it is clear. Now actually what is happening, see, one thing you might notice, when we are starting from the left side, then the index is 0, right? But from when the right side we are coming with negative indexes, then -0 is not there, because 0 -0 means the same thing, right? So again it will point to P only. So because of that, -0 is not present as indexes, and directly we have -1, okay? And -1 points to the last character. So I hope it is clear. And after that, we also have slicing, okay? So before going to slicing and all, I will just show you this image. So this is very nicely clarified that how the indexes are present, okay? So this is the word Python, and now you can see that how indices are present, okay? So this P is having 0 because the beginning position we see, right, that from where the character is beginning. So here it is starting from 0. After that, Y is starting from 1. So these are the indexes from left to right. And the negative ones, if you want to see, then here -1 is there. So that means from backside if you come, then it is N where it is ending, right? So this is -1, then O is ending at -2. So those will be the indices. So this is how you can consider it. Okay. So all right, so let us go to the terminal and see that how it works. So let us say I'm writing some word. Let us say hello only I'm writing, okay? So after that, I want to print something, right? S of 0 if I try to print. So it is printing H, right? Because that is the first character. Then S of, let us say 3 if I want to print, right? Now where is 3? You have to see that. So if H is 0, right? E is 1, after that 2, and then 3. So this L, the second L is 3. So that is getting printed. Understood? So like this, positive indexes work. After that, let us go for the negative indexes. Let us say S of -1 if I try to print, okay? Then what will happen? Then it will print the last character, which is O, okay? Then S of -4, let us say -4 if I try to print, then it is printing E. So this is -1, -2, -3, and then -4, okay? So like this, it works. So I hope it is clear. After that, now if I write S of -0, then let us see what will happen. So S of -0 is printing H only, because -0, 0 is same thing. So that is why it is printing the first character, okay? So keep this in mind. After that, let us say I want to print the character which is present in the position 2.1 maybe, okay? Now this is invalid, right? 2.1 any index is not there, and because of that we will get error, that is type error, okay? So keep these things in mind, that when we will get what kind of error. All right, now also let us say if I'm giving the index of 10, let us say, okay? Now you see whatever my word is there, hello, in this any 10th index is not there, right? So what it will print in that case? So it is giving index error. That means string index out of range. That means whatever index I have given, 10, this is out of range, because here the range is, since here total 5 characters are there, so indexes are from 0 to 4 only, so 10 is invalid, and because of that we are getting index error. Okay, so I hope this is clear. All right, so let us go back to the documentation. And the next thing which we will see is slicing. Okay, slicing. So in addition to indexing, slicing is also supported. Slicing means basically taking out a part of the string. That is the meaning of slicing. Okay, so while indexing is used to obtain individual characters, slicing allows you to obtain substring. Understood? So by indexing, always we can take out separate characters, means one single character. But if you want a group of characters to take out from the string, then you have to perform slicing. So how to do that? For slicing, the basic syntax is like this only, that you write the name of the string, name of the variable first, and then you write two numbers. Okay, the first one is representing the start index from where it should start taking the characters, and the next one, the second number, denotes the last index, that means till where you have to take the character. Okay, now remember here one thing, here in the comment itself it is written nicely, right, that okay, one second, it got moved to the next document actually, no problem, I will just okay, so all right, so we can just see the slicing from here, and then I will take to the documentation. And here, so if we perform the slicing, then from, let us say, 0 to 2, okay, if this we consider, in that case what will happen, I was trying to show there that it will start from the 0, but so this is included, but this later whatever number is there, this is excluded, that means not 2, it will actually take the characters till 1. Okay, so 0 and 1. So let us try to print it, and it is printing H and E, right? So if you see the word hello, in this case 0 and 1 is printed. Okay, so excluding the second number, okay, then it will print. So also some other things you can try, let us say from 3 to, let us say, 5, if you want to print, then what it is printing, LO, right? So it is starting from 3 and only 0 to 4 is there, right? So 5 minus 1 is 4, and till there it will consider the characters. Okay, so this is how you can do it. Also negative indexes also work. Okay, so you can start from -1 maybe, and after that you can go to -3 like this. Okay, so from -1 to -3 it is not printing anything, right? Because it will start from -3 and it will go to the right side. Okay, so there it is not having anything, and that is why it is not printing anything. Okay, so you can do, let us say, -1 and then 4 if you write, let us see what will happen. So here also it is giving empty string, because starting from -1, but then it is not able to consider any substring from there. Okay, so this is how you can do the slicing. You can try with many other different kinds of numbers, and you can try it out. Okay, so let us go back to the documentation. Actually it has moved to some other uh, area, so I can just go to this only directly. And okay, so here I think the documentation got moved to, no problem, so we can just continue now. And so here we were seeing the slicing part, right? So this is how the slicing is done. Okay, so this one I have shown, they have clearly written here that included or excluded, what all things are there that they have done. Now slice indices have useful defaults. An omitted first index defaults to 0 and omitted second index defaults to the size of the string being sliced. Okay, so that means what? That it is not always mandatory that you have to take the first number or second number. Okay, these things are not necessary. If you omit it, then by default, like here you see the first index is not mentioned, that from where to start. If not mentioned, by default it will start from 0. Okay, and here the last index is not mentioned. If that is not mentioned, it will go till last. Okay, so these things are by default present. Then here you see negative index is used, so that means from -2 it has to start. Okay, so characters from the second last to the end, so till last it will go, which is on. Okay, so this is how. After that, note how the start is always included and the end is always excluded. This makes sure that S, so if you're writing this entire thing like this, always you will get the complete string. Okay, so let us say word you're writing like this, that means it is starting from 0 to 1. It will print the characters, right? And in this case, it will start from 2 to last. So overall, end of the day, if you are joining these things, then what will happen? The entire string will be printed, right? All right. So this image I have already shown, so you can see that how the indexes are present. Okay. All right. Now for non-negative indices, the length of a slice is the difference of the indices. So let us say if non-negative, that means if positive indices you are having, then the length of the slice, the length of the substring will be what? Their difference. That means from 1 to 3 if you are going, then 3 minus 1, 2 characters will be printed, right? So this by basic aptitude you can just answer this. Now one very important thing is mentioned here, and that is about the indices. Okay, this I already have shown you, that if you are writing, let us say for that hello, I was my string was hello and I was trying to print that character which is present in the index 10, right? So for that I got index error. Similarly here also you are getting index error because word of 42, there is no index 42 in the word Python, right? And that is why you are getting error. Okay, but in case of slicing, if you are using the slice operator like this, and if you are doing slicing, then even if you are giving some invalid indices, it is not a problem, you will not get error. Okay, so if you are writing from 4 to 42, that means basically it is 4 to 41, right? So even if till 41 any character is not there, it will print the characters till characters are present. Okay, and after that, even if like till 41, 41 any such characters are not there, still it will not give any error. It will start from whatever start index is there and it will print till last. So that is the benefit. And here 42 is there, that you have to start from 42, but there is no 42 index. In that case, nothing will be printed and you will get an empty string. So that means basically if you are using slicing, then you will never get index error. Okay, because even if you are giving invalid indices, it is considered valid. Okay, all right. Now one more thing, that Python strings cannot be changed. Okay, that means strings are immutable in Python. So therefore, if you, let us say, trying to change it, so from this example itself I am explaining, let's say if you're doing word of 0 is equal to j, so that means at 0 location actually p is there, right? So this one you are trying to change to j, but this is not going to happen. Okay, and you are getting type error. All right, so it is saying also str object does not support item assignment, so you cannot assign something. Okay, or this also if you're trying to do that from 2 till last, okay, you assign pi. So this kind of changes because you're trying to change in the string itself, so that is not possible. Okay, now if you want to have a different kind of string, then what you have to do, you have to do such a operation by which a new string will be generated. Okay, so if you're doing like this j plus word and then from 1 to last, right, in that case what will happen, j will be joined with YTHON, right? That is the substring which will come by this slicing. So this will be joined and this string will be produced. So it is not that Python string got changed. Okay, this is actually one new string got generated and that output you are getting. Similarly, this example is also showing that. Okay, so whatever string you are having, that Python cannot be changed in any way. Okay, whatever changes you will do with that, one new string will be created. So this you have to keep in mind. Okay, also in case of string, there is one kind of built-in function is there, which is length. So it is used for calculating the length of the string. So like you see here, of course you cannot count it, right? Means you will take time to count this entire word. Okay, so in this, how many characters are there? If you count it directly, you can use the length function and it will give the output as 34. So this is one single word in English, right, which is having total 34 characters. All right, so this everything is the discussion about strings, and here some extra references are there. If you want to study in detail about these things also, you can go to these links and study. And overall the lecture has finished here. So this was all about the basics of strings, how we can do operations in this and how we can represent. Okay, so stay tuned with us. I am ending the lecture here. Thank you.